times over, like many times over. In fact, at times it was more of like
Hang on. She's a complex character, and she's quoted as saying there's no such thing as Palestinians, which reflects her denial of distinct Palestinian identity. Hang on. However, she declassified protocols indicates that she did consider the possibility of a Palestinian statehood and discussed potential arrangements. Well, she's one step better than the current leader. She's acknowledging that we should all be called Palestinians, no matter whether we're Jewish or whether we're Arabic, right? So that's a good thing, but the saying she's complex, so sometimes she said one thing that went too far the other way. Her views were nuanced and evolved over time. What does that mean? It means she's changed her opinion over time. But she consistently refused to recognise the Palestinians' right to self-determination. Now I have an issue with her. She consistently said they don't have a right to self-determination. In other words, we will control you. Now, you're a human being. You have a right to self-determination. You have a right to self-determination.
Yeah.
That means you are in control of your life. She has just said Palestinians have no right to self-determination. Can you see the problem I have with that?
Well, essentially, I think she would be saying that that's because if they're
I'm not interested in the reasons. She doesn't believe in they have self-determination.
Well, I don't think a terrorist has self-determination. Once you know someone is trying.
Yeah, but he's a criminal. These are people that are just living this. Don't nuance it and complicate it. Does everybody have a right, forget criminals, to self-determination? Yeah, of course they do. It's a human principle. It's like what happened during COVID. Do people have to sit there and have a jab in their arm because somebody else tells them to, or do you have free choice? That's why you like Trump so much. What's he saying?
Yeah.
We have free speech. We have a right to exist.
Oh, I do like. I would love to see the films and stuff that come from the next years.
Just that statement alone, she's not my hero. Goldman May.
No. But
I don't like her.
But have a listen to what she says, because I think what she's saying is like what I remember of that.
The trouble is, I'm not going to find anything on the net because the time period there were no videos.
No, there is an interview with her. That's why I watched. Basically, like she's saying, like no, because they weren't Palestinians when I grew up, and it was just Muslims, Christians, Jews in this region of what was the Ottoman Empire at the time, and then it became different things. It's not that the Muslims there were Palestinians. It's like they've now just kind of like we are Palestinian now. Like Palestine was just. It was only like a 50-year-old thing that the Ottomans didn't even started calling it Palestine, like a Palestinian region. It was just a name for it. Like we call West Australia, they call themselves West Australians. It's like that's basically what she's kind of saying. It's like no, it was Jews, Christians, Muslims, and it was like a split. It was like an even kill, and so she doesn't. That's why she's saying they don't have the state. She's like. They weren't their own state, they're claiming that now so they can have a place. I guess in some sense they were there before like the Jews came back and then claimed it. So they definitely have more say over it than the Jews in that sense. Like
before 1949, the region of Palestine was home to a diverse population. During the Ottoman period, which is what you're talking about, 1500s to 1900s, the population included Muslims, Christians and Jews. By the 19th and 20th century, the population was predominantly Muslim, with significant Christian and Jewish communities. So it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Under the British Mandate, 1920 to 48, and Britain's evil in this regard. The British Empire's friggin' evil, you know.
I think they were defending their own values though.
No, the British Empire's fucking evil.
Because in that time from the 19th to the 20th century, like you said, when it becomes more Muslim, is like that's when they just started
under the British Mandate.
How evil were the Muslims chasing Christians and Jews out, like murdering them as they're running away from their cities? Like they're like you have about I don't even think they gave you 24 hours half the time to get out and just piss off. They're just like no, Muslim now, we run, you go. This is what they did. This is what they did all over the Middle East.
Towards Muslims.
No, I definitely am because I don't believe in their faith. I believe much more in the Christian faith.
I just want peace.
I think it's
just give us peace, you know.
Let me get this clear.
Yeah.
I do not understand their ways, and I don't like their ways. I hate Sharia law. However, having said all that,
They just asked them.
But hang on.
Christians and Jews, time to go. Boom.
but that's not They can do what they
No
like.
nuances.
I believe
or-
people should have freedom. One thing's for sure, I don't believe that people should be kicked out of their homeland just because some other party comes along and says, we want to make space for you.
Whoa.
Did you just walk straight
Hey,
in?
mate, you
Too
should
clean.
Yeah, on my phone.
You should have gone to Specsavers.
Too clean, actually. You've just done too good a job with this.
Hey, you got to be careful. I had a friend when I was young. He did exactly that,
Yeah.
and he's hit it with too much force, and he's actually gone
Broken.
through the glass.
Technically, do you know there's a way to do it? It's I've seen it done. It's like you hit your head and the knee at the same time without stopping. It's the flatness of like the way they're designed
Yeah.
because of the like they are really strong, but if you hit, it's like a physics thing. It's like you hit it with the force here and here, and it's like it takes that force as if it was like a sledgehammer coming and taking it. You know.
It probably sets up way
The
for.
fall, yeah,
And the
the
resonance.
distribution, yeah, it's like the resonance. There's something, yeah, like it doesn't have enough time to become a
Mike,
solid
what are you
structure
doing?
again.
What are you doing?
It doesn't have enough time to stay solid, and so it like hacks. So because you're like this much distance, but at the same
I'm
time,
deep thinking, mate.
Mm.
I appreciate that.
uh,
Don't get me wrong. I don't agree with most of Muslim stuff. Yeah, Sharia law's cracking.
essentially what the Jews just did, like they didn't just done by
No, Jews
everyone.
aren't Muslims.
No, but what we're saying about the
They-
Jews is like
they-
everything that's been done to them, they really were like put under the of anyone. They've been put
Yeah, but they
under
did
the
the
foot the
same.
most.
They're crackers
And,
too.
and that's what I'm saying. They've just gone and
They're
done.
crackers too.
It's like this is why you don't treat anyone poorly, because the Jews were treated so poorly to the point where they're like, okay, we're gonna do it to everyone else now. You kick us out of our lands, you oust us, we'll do it to you. You try and kill us, and we'll just do it back, because if we don't, we're just gonna continually be put under the pressure by everyone always.
And
That's what it seems
this
like.
guy's still talking.
Yeah.
How long does his interview go for?
What?
This thing.
No, it's just in different videos. Like,
You know how we say he's smart?
You like him? You still like him?
I listen to him to go to the gym and to go to work. Motivation, like all these motivation, like you gotta work hard, you gotta push hard.
But you know that already. You don't need him to tell you that.
Or
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, too lazy to get up. I'm like, just listen to him. Like, wake up, you lazy bastard.
You know,
Wake
they
up.
give speeches before
Wake up.
the war, and they give speeches
Mark,
before
it
things
sounds
go
like you
wrong.
need to be controlled.
Mm.
You're going to be your
No, I'm just
listen.
motivation.
You're gonna be your own chief, or you're going to need him to tell you, come on. You're going to be your own boss.
I was gonna say as well about here, he's not
Mark,
as smart as you say.
when
that
we
he is.
were young, hang on, there was none of this next to you, talking to you.
Oh,
There
yeah.
were no distraction. If
Yeah.
you wanted to communicate with somebody, you'd have to dial. So you're lying in bed there, and the alarm goes, the old-fashioned alarm, and it's time to go up. You don't want to go up, right? Now you don't have anybody sort of saying, well, if you let it go too long, the old man comes in there and says, what the
Yeah,
fuck you
yeah.
doing? Get out of work,
Yeah.
lazy bastard, right? But you had to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So you fall into the trap of, I'll just sleep another minute longer, and you know what happens. You fall asleep.
Yeah, long.
Correct?
Yeah, snooze.
So then you're racing off to work, and you're late for work.
Mm.
Well, there's your first kick in the arse. The boss says, why are you late? I've docked your pay and whatever. It shouldn't then happen again, should it? So you learn and you go,
Or else you
I
get
am not-
quickly known as
I am
someone
not going to
who-
go for the 1 minute siesta because I might fall asleep. But
Yeah.
you've got to figure that out yourself. You don't need him to sort of say, Mark, you've got to, because that's the way he talks. Mark, you've got to get up
Yeah.
of bed because you're.
He's so pompous, it's so ridiculous. He's got this weird.
He's just an influencer, man.
He's
You
played, exactly. That is exactly it. That's what I'm
gotta
saying.
Influence yourself.
His whole thing is just like he's created a character and he's playing it 24/7 now.
How many times have I said to you, Mark, think for yourself?
He is his character now. The character that he started playing is like, wow, it actually makes me all this money now. Dude, we say he's smart because we can see that he's not actually dumb. He can play chess, he can, he's got,
Oh, no, he's got good
he's
arguments.
got
He's
intelligence.
got good arguments, that's why
But
he's consistent.
the money he made and whatever else, where he walks around like his big hundred, he didn't make that money because he was an intelligent businessman. I don't think he made.
Oh, yeah, he's
I don't
okay.
even. I don't
Hang
even
on,
think
no,
he
that's
made
not
a
fair.
decent. I don't think he made a decent living at any point. What he did was eventually started selling things like these crappy little ebooks or to gullible people who are willing to buy them,
I know, he's a
and then
businessman.
they start and then
He
they
owns
start.
Bitcoin too, doesn't he, Mark?
And now he will.
Yeah, Bitcoin, yeah.
Yeah. He asked a very good question a while ago, and I like what he did with this. He said, he asked somebody that was knowledgeable on Bitcoin, he said, I'm only raising this. He said, I don't have an answer for it. He said, but if everyone starts buying Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes up in value, they get rich. Why are people going to work? He said, no, I don't have an answer to it, but if everybody's getting rich through Bitcoin, who's going to do any work? And I thought that was a good point. See, what he says is, as we all sort of get rich through Bitcoin, some people their desire to work becomes less because they're just sort of getting lucky through Bitcoin. And I thought that's a good point because that's something there, but there's a lot of rubbish. I don't know if you know much about crypto, but there's a lot of rubbish about that too. Like I heard one guy say, there's only Bitcoin and the rest is shitcoin. Well, hang on, Bitcoin's the shitcoin. What does it do? It's now become digital gold. That's it. It's not used for transactions. How many of us bought anything with Bitcoin in the last week? How many, I could go around this whole neighborhood. How many people in Primby bought anything through Bitcoin?
Not yet, because the banks are
Sydney
still.
bought anything through Bitcoin? None of them, right? So,
Well, the banks are still trying to block it. They still don't want it to become.
yes, but if they're going to do it, they're not going to do it through Bitcoin, they'll do it through some other coin. Because Bitcoin's fees are too high, right? Bitcoin is not used. Satoshi's vision was to basically use it as a deregulated. That just doesn't do that anymore. It's now become digital gold. And the big boys, they're not using it. They're just going, I'm going to buy this amount of Bitcoin and I'm going to store it in a hard wallet. That's it.
Yeah, it's just another stock.
And what I got annoyed with this bloke is he bagged Ethereum. Well, hang on, Ethereum runs smart contracts. That's actually useful. You know, Solana runs ETFs and meme coins and stuff, you know. That's actually doing something. A coin like Nano can be used for transactions. A coin like Chainlink, it provides all the protocols and stuff. It's useful. So Bitcoin is actually the most useless.
Yeah. And it's
XRP
already
is
reached
useful.
its value to the point of like, how do you can't buy into it. It is
You
essentially.
can buy $10 worth, and if it goes to $1 million, you've made 10 times. You can still
If
buy.
it does, but it's just not doing that anymore. It's
Oh no, this is a game we're playing. You saw what happened this last week. That's
kind of
straight out
peaked.
manipulation.
I know people who you probably like, what, it got up really high at one stage.
No, it's high now.
It's high now? Is it as high as it's been?
The highest it's been is about 170 grand. It's 140.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin's always been
What's it
volatile.
been?
No, just around the corner.
Yeah.
You into crypto at all?
Nah, I'm not really because I don't like to. It's like gambling to me a
Yeah,
little
right.
bit. Putting in stocks. Have you done stocks and NFTs? And, I don't know.
No, I'm on the property.
Yeah, property's a smarter investment, I think.
Property's safe,
Yeah.
but the trouble with property is it's
And I think-
liquid. If you want to sell a property, I'm going through one. I'm selling a property at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a pain to sell it because it takes a while.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you can't have your money instantly.
Yeah.
Look,
But what do you need the money for? Instantly, you know.
everyone needs money.
Yeah. But you. I don't know.
You might need money for everything.
Probably safer to have investments that you don't get until you.
But what I like about
the
crypto is it's the best performing asset of all time.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And Ralph Paul puts it right. It's the time frame. Now, I wanted to buy $10,000 of Bitcoin in 2009. The price at that stage was $100, $200. Think how wealthy I would be. None of the techies at work could help me.
Yeah.
I went to Sydney. Where can I buy Bitcoin? In frustration, I gave up and I bought some gold and silver, which I've gotten rid of since. Look, fast forward to today. All right.
Did you make any?
The gold
profit on
price
the gold or
doubled. The
silver?
gold price doubled. I've gotten rid of those coins.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin went from $100, $200 to 170,000 recently.
Yeah.
Can you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Bitcoin.
I would have owned hundreds of them, and I would be filthy.
Oh, really
rich.
early on Bitcoin, you're saying you.
But then,
you asked
fast
people-
forward 2016.
Yeah.
I then decided to get back into it again. So I ended up putting a little bit in, and for $5,000 I owned one.
Yeah.
Right? I was proud of that. I owned one Bitcoin.
Mm.
Then the price dropped, and I played this game of ditching it before it dropped, and I owned three.
Yeah.
But then the price really dropped, and I thought, stuff, this is getting insane. Watching the prices fall through the roof.
Gotta get rid of it.
And everybody talked me out of it, and I gave up. Biggest mistake in my life.
Yeah.
I should have had those 3 Bitcoin because
You'd
I'd be $500,000 better off now, right?
Yeah.
So I learned something. Never ever will I go through that again. Don't worry about it. And the other day.
Don't worry about the like trying to.
Right, don't worry about the drops. Just hang.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah, that's what everyone says with
Correct.
investing is like your investment is you believe that in 50 years or 40 or 50 years.
Correct.
It's not now, it's maybe 10, 20, 30, but it's not anywhere in the
Mark will know this. If you buy a house tomorrow
Yeah.
and you hang on to it for 2 months and sell it,
Yeah.
you'll buy it. Because you've just paid for stamp duty. By the time you've just lost money. If you wait a year, you're still behind. But if you wait 8 years,
Yeah. 10 years,
it's
whatever.
double.
Yeah.
Okay, there will be some costs. If it's your own house, there's no cost. But except for legal costs and
people don't like to sell houses.
But if it's an investment property, you have to pay capital gains. Thank you fucking Bob Hawke for that. Used to be years ago, you could fix up a property, your blood, sweat and tears, you got the profit. Bob Hawke comes along, oh, you must be rich if you own a house, capital gains. So you know that works, don't you?
Yeah.
Bastard, what? And Howard come in and said, no, it's too high. We're going to make it 50% less.
How does it working in capital gains is your
Capital
cash
gains is
on-
like this. If suppose you buy a property for, let's say, let's just come up with a small figure. You buy a studio for 300 grand, right? Suppose 8 years later it becomes 600 grand, right? So you've made $300,000 profit. That's investment property. The year you sell it, after the financial year, they'll say, right, you need to declare $300,000 as profit. So that goes on your taxable income.
Yeah.
Now Bob Hawke made it 300,000. So you can imagine the tax if you went through this phenomenal because after about 100 and something grand, you pay 50 cents in the dollar. Howard come along and goes, no, it's too high. I want to reward investors and stuff. So he cut it to 50%. So in today's world, the 300,000 will become 150,000 capital gain. The year you sell them, make sure you're not working, or sell them when you retire.
Yeah.
Because if you got other income and you got the capital gains, you're going to get smashed.
Yeah.
And never sell 2 in 1 year.
Yeah.
Because the government just looks at your gross income and says, shit, you're rich, we'll tax the crap out of you. Right?
Yeah.
So if you do offload them, do it slowly, and you generally do it when your income is down.
Yeah. They're very
Having said all that, property is still a good investment. Look, last time I sold property, I paid 30,000 capital gain.
Yeah.
Right? That was when I sold the PMO one, so I sold it for.
You had a fight, look at that.
No, that's just.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, I.
You're an idiot.
That's good though, that's what it should look.
Yeah,
Have you
Trump.
said the one about Gaza? Have you said the one about Gaza?
Fighting.
What happened?
Type that in. Gaza, Trump.
Gaza Trump.
Yeah.
It's just punching on with
No, it's people are bad. I actually think it's quite funny.
Yeah.
So in
I don't
Gaza.
know. What is it?
Here it is.
What?
Watch.
Oh, this is his future Gaza. Elon. Imagine if they did turn it into something like this. That's pretty brilliant. I think it just goes over most people's heads though, right? All of that stuff.
And I don't want to be cute, I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so.
What he said.
This could be so magnificent.
Man, so magnificent.
It's true. I always thought that too. Like, look at where they are. They're on the Mediterranean, and there's just this war zone.
in the US yesterday alongside brother Tristan.
He's losing his hair. His brother's got more.
Oh yeah, I love how that happened. We realised what he really looks like when he stopped being the celebrity.
His brother's got a good head, eh? Oh, his brother's got a receding hairline. Starting to go too now. Is he the older brother, right?
I think
What?
the bald one is the older brother.
Yeah, older brother, yeah, and the tape.
Say demeans women. Many have raised concerns about the impact of Undertake's views.
Who else can listen to Mark apart from Andrew Tate?
Just work out motivation, you know. Work hard, go to gym,
He listens to what's on there really. You don't like. I'm pretty picky with who I listen to. Where you kind of pick. You like the people I listen to. You like Academy of Ideas.
It's just discipline thing, you know what I mean?
University. Thomas Sowell. You like Thomas Sowell?
Don't know.
He's like they're just thinkers. They're just like people who write dissertations and like Thomas Sowell is like an African American guy who speaks about how much better was before.
The interesting thing
the
is,
abolishment of slavery.
you don't hear any of this on
Incredible.
mainstream media.
No,
You
no.
have to go out of your way
Yes.
and find the intelligent stuff.
You have to get yourself to a point of like being on a list of this guy's racist because of
But
what
what
he
you find
searched
is your
or-
phone, once you start listening to that stuff,
Oh yeah.
somehow the algorithm there figures your likings and you'll get similar sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd be the same. So,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you got to break out of that.
Something. Yes.
It's figured me out. It's time. So my sister sends me stuff because she was very much.
Opposite.
Like when these vaccines first came out, I didn't know any different. I thought, and she worked as a nurse in the hospital.
Yeah.
She said no, they're really bad. And
Did
I
you
started
end
doing my
up
own
getting it?
research, and she sent me the stuff on Malone and
Yeah.
like one of the smartest guys in the world would be David Martin.
Mm.
The patents go through his office, and he actually warned you that this was going to happen. David Martin. Listen to his speech that he gave to the European Union about the COVID vaccines.
That was quickly.
Yeah, for some reason I don't want to go to Sydney anymore, you know what I mean? Permanently.
He's talking shit. There's never been exodus. Sydney's beautiful, mate.
What?
Around the world, everyone knows Sydney. There's not going to be exodus out of Sydney. The prices keep going up and up and up. Hey,
Yeah.
let him
Oh,
leave.
liar.
Is he Piedmont right
He's a
now?
liar then.
Is that Piedmont where he is right now?
No, I don't think so. Hang on.
Sydney Opera House.
Oh, that's the Sydney Harbour Bridge starting in the
Yeah.
background there, yeah, the rampway up there. Look at the buildings behind him. What did they call them the toaster? Look,
Yeah.
who let them through? They're
I
an
know,
eyesore.
there's a lot of eyesores in Sydney because the architects were just somehow these
Shit.
Trump type people who are just like, I'm
UK
gonna
just
do
gave
it.
Ukraine 5 billion.
Huh?
UK just gave Ukraine 5 billion.
Yeah, True News, is that not fake?
Starmer's
Well,
an idiot.
alright, I'll play it now.
Starmer's an idiot.
Maybe it's
Ukraine have signed a deal to provide.
because of they're now like, oh, US is now building LPG and stuff in Ukraine. Now it's safe to invest there. Let's invest in. Well,
No, he's giving them for bombs.
Oh, is it?
Loan.
So they can keep the fight going. Trump's right. They will lose. They can't beat Russia.
Yeah.
If Russia starts losing, Russia will pull out the ultimate Trump card. Which
The
is
nuke.
The nuke. They'll nuke them. That's right.
Well, it looks like the clear message from Zelensky is if the
Maybe this is exactly what we don't want, because then if a weak leader comes in, now we've got
Starmer. If in England now, apparently, if you're online and you say the wrong thing, the police will kick your door down and friggin' arrest you.
Where?
England.
England.
It's disgraceful.
And now we've just had
They've got cases there where some of their immigrants have raped people and they can't deport them.
You
Why?
can- you-
Because they've got legislation that says no, he's a British citizen, we can't deport him. And this was all done under Tony Blair. He's the architect of disaster there. Pretty boy Tony Blair. You know? He changed all the rules. And basically in England now, the judiciary is more powerful than the government. Now we didn't elect the judiciary. Judges shouldn't have more power than the government. You elect the government, you don't elect the judiciary, you know? But one, I learned this once, Liz Storer. Remember she's only in Prime Minister for 49 days in England? 49 days she lasted. That's because she wanted to do something about their debt, do something.
Oh, really?
So they got rid of her pretty quickly. And then they put the Indian bloke in, what's his name?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Ah, shouldn't. What's the Indian bloke's name?
What?
I really,
Not Tony Blair.
they kept on just one person after the next after the next. I thought it had a lot to do with Brexit.
Sulik.
Yeah.
What? Like the fighting?
Hey, type in
What type of
George Galloway. Type in, you want to see someone that's well spoken, type in George Galloway and Trump. George Galloway is a brilliant, nobody's better spoken than George Galloway. He came in and Sulik badged him and they put the microphone in his name and he said, don't lecture me about Sulik, he's not Moses, he hasn't come down from the mount. He said, I detest the man.
Yeah.
And he goes on and just actually hammers
Yeah. Who did he just have?
Prime Minister
Oh,
of England at the time.
George Galloway, I definitely know
He,
that.
he hates Trump too. Type in George Galloway, Trump.
Yeah,
but
Trump.
he makes some good points. He does make some good points.
Hey, wait, who? I was looking up someone Martin before. Was it David Martin?
Creation of a crazy Trump reputation, a crazy
Is this George Galloway?
pattern of
Yeah.
behavior.
Who was the Martin? I was looking up someone Martin. David Martin, someone Martin.
David Martin.
It was David Martin? Came up with a soccer player.
No. Just type in David Martin. I'll look. Well, yeah, this would be worth watching because
What?
yeah, forget that because it depends which one. He has it.
Is he an Australian guy?
podcast. No, American.
What?
Type in David Martin, EU speech, COVID. It only goes for about 20 minutes. He wanted to make it go for an hour, but yeah, that'll do.
If we can get
This is really a great opportunity for us. As you know, there have really been two pandemics. The first pandemic was really the one.
Just go forward a bit where David
Dr.
Martin
David
talks.
Martin.
Yeah, Dr. David.
What? How many minutes?
Can you go forward a little bit just to when
Where?
Martin starts talking?
So
That's
you
it.
you go pretty deep on the politics. I think I stay away from politics a lot.
No, I'm not interested in politics. No, I'm just know the players.
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
No, like what? This one?
Yeah, wasn't that fun?
Yeah, it's the one playing.
Oh, okay. Can you go forward in the timestamp a bit?
Okay, 5 minutes.
I think
This is watch a bit of it. Yeah.
Pandemic that we alleged to have happened
This guy's a
the last
fucking
few
genius.
years also did not happen overnight. In fact, the very specific pandemic using coronavirus began in a very different time. We'll try to advance the slides here with one of these things.
I picked him for the.
There we go.
He knows all the things on
Did
the
you
top
get
of it.
the jab
So
in
you
there?
don't know that coronavirus
I got the
is being
overback.
modeled of
That one was done without
isolated in
and
1960.
Just listen. Just watch 5 minutes this way. He'll tell you the truth about COVID.
Was identified in 1965 as one of the first infectious replicatable viral models that could be used to modify a series of other experiences of the human condition. It was isolated once upon a time associated with.
Anyway, won't bore you now, but if you watch his speech,
Yeah.
he knows all the details. He's got the patent numbers in his head. He predicted that this would happen, and he basically sets a bioweapon. And he wrote to every attorney general in the States of America with his facts. He said they didn't get back to him because they're all compromised. But he is a friggin' genius. I've never seen an intellect like it. How we can recall, so the patent numbers of things from, 14 years ago. And he's one that told the world about Fauci. So the senators would come to him and sort of say, what's the mo on Fauci? So he tells them what Fauci's been up to. Fauci has had this in the planning for a long time.
I was hearing a lot of people saying how it's like the big money is from Big Pharma and part of this is just like a huge. We have a thing that every single person in the world has to take.
That's not her talking, is it? Or
What?
I don't know.
handsome.
Wait,
Somebody used the word. Oh shit, yeah, she's good. I like Pauline. I vote for her. She makes me laugh. Yeah, they put her in prison,
Yeah.
Tony Abbott. That was Tony Abbott's fault.
What the?
Yeah. Something over electoral rolls. Now, it was all wrong, but she spent a few months in prison. But Tony Abbott said later he never wanted her to go to prison, and she's actually friends with him now. It's a funny thing, so because of what he said, put her in prison, but he actually regrets that it happened. That was a long time ago. They always make out she's a racist. She's not a racist.
Pretty easy to do to her as well.
No, it's just that's the throwaway line. You're racist, what the hell is that?
Australia's most iconic politicians here in our studio. She's a mum. She is Australia's first political prisoner.
You like Pauline Hanson?
Yeah, she's came for Australia country, so
The
yeah.
best senator we've got is Rennick. Have you heard him?
No.
Oh, he asked. He's smart. He knows science. He knows technology. He knows politics, and he gets up to this. But he's a lot better spoken than she is, and he hammers them. Yeah, he'll sort of say, why did you approve these facts? And off he goes. And they have no answer. They just try to shut him up by sort of saying, well, your time's expired.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. He takes on the money system too. I've written to him a few times. I've sort of said, keep doing what you're doing. Like, you want to fix Australia's money problems? You can do it in one fell swoop. Make your own money.
Like make Australian money not based on the American dollar.
Make it an Australian dollar. It's backed by the assets of Australian people. Who would you have to borrow money off? No one.
Do many countries do anything like that?
America used to have it. Remember Lincoln?
Yeah.
That's the reason he got shot.
Yeah.
He had greenbacks. America had no debt, no problems. But then you let the private banks, the maggots in, the Jewish empire.
Yeah, so essentially no one can do it because
No, they can only do it. They can do it.